from Happy Body Pilates, and welcome to day 2 of your strength and mobility reset. It's a 7-day movement challenge, and today we are focusing on unlocking tight, sticky hips. It's hopefully only going to take about 20 minutes, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit more light, a bit more free in your hips. A few things you're going to need. Hopefully you've got some of this stuff. 2 yoga blocks or something similar. 1 weight, it doesn't have to be too heavy, but just some kind of weight, 1, 2, 3, 4 kilos, something like that. A soft ball, it could be a rubber ball, it could be a tennis ball, not too hard, and don't worry if you don't have one, you could always use a rolled up hand towel. And then if you have a Pilates ball or a soccer ball or football, something like that, just to feel the movement of the ball moving, right? A rolling sort of action. So make do with whatever you've got, and I'm sure we can make it work. So we're just going to start standing, hands on your hips if you want to, or arms out to the side, wherever you feel like you have a little bit of help with balance. And I want you to make some hip circles for me. So go across your body, out wide, and just notice, yes, there's a bit of balance involved, but just notice how this feels for you in your hip. Is there a little bit of clicking and clunking going on? Go the other way when you're ready. Big circles, and make sure you do sort of cross the body, so there's that little bit of hip internal rotation, and when you're out wide, there's a bit of external rotation. Whoops, and you might lose your balance like me, but go to a wall if you need to. And other side when you're ready. So you're going to choose the direction and stick with it for a little while, and then we'll obviously switch. Good. Notice which hip you feel a little bit more free in. Remember that we're still moving with curiosity and not forcing anything. Go the other way. External rotation, and you come across, and there's a bit of internal rotation at the hip. If you're losing your balance, just have your hand on a wall. Amazing. And last one. Okay, cool. So then you're going to come down to the mat. This is where you're going to need your 2 blocks, or maybe you're able to find something else that you can just stack, and you'll see we'll use it in a second. So can you find the sort of 90-degree position at the legs? Front leg, 1 leg forwards, right leg for me, left leg back, hands just behind you, and we're just going to change your leg position so that your knees go the other way. And then face forwards again. Try not to move your spine and your rib cage and your shoulders too much. So we just want to keep switching, going one way with your hips and then the other way. One hip internally rotates, the other hip externally rotates. How easily can you get your knees to the floor? Remember, without forcing anything, please. Treat your body with kindness, and hopefully we'll just get a little bit extra range of motion by the time we have completed this. So when you've got your right leg back in front of you, you're going to grab your blocks, and you're going to place the blocks under your left knee and come down onto your elbow. You're going to lift that ankle and shin up. Elbow is down on the floor, lengthening your spine, and keep your hand on your hip bone just to give you a bit of feedback so that your hip is not rolling forwards. You press the knee down and you lift your ankle up and your shin up as high as you can. So we're just working a bit of internal rotation. You're going to press your knee down and you're going to hold. You're going to hold a little bit of isometric work so we can build in that strength element. Press your knee down, push that ankle up, a little bit of flexing, ankle flexing in your, so that that foot is not, you're not pointing it, flexing it, hold, hold, hold. Okay, and then come back up. Move those blocks and place those blocks under your, so it's going to be under your right foot, okay. So then you're going to come down onto your elbow again. Make sure those blocks are stacked neatly. And now you're going to press your foot and your knee and that side of your hip into the block. Elongate your spine and press down as hard as you can. So hopefully you start to feel your outer hip glute area switching on. You can take your hand behind your head if you want help lengthening your neck. Pressing that foot down as hard as you can, and we're going to hold it, lengthen your spine, deep breath in and out, and release that bit of tension. Hold it again, and this time we're going to add in a bit of rotation. Rotate down. See if that gives you a little bit of extra stretch around your right hip, and up, and rotate down, and you're pressing your foot while you're doing this, and rotate up. And again, rotate down. Keep pressing your foot, pressing the side of your leg into the floor. And last one. Keep the pressure on. And come up when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to switch the legs around. And then we therefore switch the blocks around. So the block first goes under your right knee. Elbow down on the floor, and you're going to press your knee down and lift your ankle and shin up. Your knee presses and your shin and foot lift, and you're going to try and not rotate the rest of your body with that movement. You're trying to keep your hip quiet. So hand on hip bone is very useful for feedback. Head on top of your spine, elongating through the top of your head and reaching away with your tailbone. Press that knee down. Which hip feels a little trickier in internal rotation? Good. And now we hold it a little longer. Press and hold. Keep pushing your ankle up. A little bit of ankle flexion here. And obviously when we hold, we don't hold your breath, so you're still breathing, and release that. Come up and move the blocks under your front knee, and then come down. Oh, sorry, it's not your knee, it's your foot. Come, blocks under your foot, and then you're coming down onto your elbow again. Okay, so now you're going to press your foot into the floor, the side of your hip into the floor. Stay nice and open through your torso. Hand can go behind your head just to help you elongate your neck. Keep that pressure, keep that pressure, keep that pressure. The side of your hip should be switched on. Release that tension for a second. Press down and hold. And we're going to keep pressing now as we add in rotation. It might feel a little more juicy in the hip here. Rotate down, inhale, rotate back, but try and keep the pressure on through your foot and through the side of your hip. Rotate down. Inhale, rotate back to the wall behind you. Rotate forwards to the wall in front of you. Keep the pressure, keep the pressure. And last time, rotate. Oh, that should feel quite good. It feels good for me. I hope it feels good for you. And then release that and take your foot off the block. Okay, so now I'd like you to grab your one weight. And you're going to come into a kneeling position. Let's go. Left foot forwards, right leg back. And you're going to move your right shin and foot inwards. Okay, so hold the weight with both hands. You might feel a hamstring stretch here, but the idea here is that you do a sort of lunge back or push your hips back as your weight goes forwards as the counterbalance, and then push your hips forwards to come back up. So that spine lengthens, but it is initiated by driving your hips back, hinging back into those hips as the weight goes forwards as your counterbalance, and come back up. You're not necessarily trying to straighten your leg. You can if you want to, but just focus on your hips, pressing back, lengthening your spine, and bring the weight forwards. If the weight is too heavy, just put it down and don't use anything. Inhale, press that weight forwards, hip hinge back, and come back up. By all means, put some padding under this knee if you need to. And one more time, focus on that length of your spine, the hip hinge, your back needs to be flat, no rounding in your spine, and come back up. Okay, switch sides when you're ready. Okay, so if your left leg is the back leg, that leg needs to move inwards. Okay, so when you're ready, you initiate from your right hip, and you can almost use your one hand very quickly and encourage that hip to move back to that wall behind you as you add in the resistance of your arms reaching forwards, and then press your hips forwards to come back. Inhale, find the length. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, press your hips forwards to come back. So nice. 2 more. Yes, you might feel a hamstring stretch. And come back. Let's call that a bonus. Last one. Press your hips back, lengthen forwards, and come back up. Okay, so place your weight down and just grab one of your blocks. So we're going to look at opening the front of your hip. Let's go one hip at a time. Left knee on the block and take a step forwards with your right leg. So you're in this sort of half kneeling position and you're going to tuck your toes under of your back foot. You should feel like your pelvis is on top of this bottom knee. Okay, so press that hip forwards. It's your left hip. Press it forward so that you start to feel like you're elongating that left hip. Your front foot, even though it's not going to move, I want you to feel like you're pulling it backwards. So you've got this gathering into your center. Your left arm is going to reach up to the ceiling, pushing the palm of your hand up, like you're trying to push the ceiling higher up. And this should feel pretty intense through the front of your hip. So it might not look like you're doing anything, but it's a big psoas stretch, big hip flexor stretch. So keep pushing that hand up, driving your knee down and pressing the back of your hip forwards. It's the left hip. Deep breath in and out while you just hold this intensity of the stretch. You're going to be desperate to let go by the end of this, but we're going to hold just a little longer. Deep breath in, powerful breath in and out. You've got that rib stacked over your pelvis position, like hopefully we covered, if you remember, we covered yesterday in day 1. Deep breath in and out. And, oh my goodness, let that go. Okay, let's do the other side. So move that block over. So, oopsie, you're going to have your right knee on that block, left leg forwards. Okay, tuck your toes, so just helps you with your balance, and your ribs are on top of your pelvis and your pelvis stays on top of your knees. You're not coming like that. You're just going to lose the intensity of the stretch. So we need to stay here. And then you're going to gather. You're going to press your hip forwards to the wall in front of you. You're going to pull your front leg back towards the wall behind you, but you don't actually go anywhere. So there's this gathering into the center. Then we need to elongate up. So you're going to take your right arm and push it up to the ceiling with the heel of your hand reaching up, reaching up. And you're going to take a deep breath in and out. Remember, you're not coming forward, so stay on top of yourself. Deep breath in and out while you're holding that intensity, and we're trying to elongate all these tissues while your knee presses down, your feet press down into the floor. Deep breath in and out. Stay there a little longer. It's intense, I know. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And finally, let that go and come off that block for a second. Okay. So now you need to go to a wall, please, and grab your small ball. And if you don't have one, then maybe just a rolled up hand towel will help. And it takes a little bit of organizing, but that's fine. You're going to place this ball, as long as it's not too painful. You're going to go to the side of your hip, find a juicy spot, and that's where I want you to lie on that ball. But organize yourself so that your knees are bent, your bottom foot right at the bottom of the wall, and your top foot a little bit elevated with the ball between your knees. So if it's not a ball between your knees, maybe it's a cushion, maybe it's just something else, and you're going to elongate your spine. Now, you might need to just play around with where that ball is. Yeah, it's going to dig into you a little bit, but that's sort of the whole point. Now, your top knee, you're going to roll that ball forwards with your top knee, and then you're going to pull it back. And this is going to hopefully open out any of those tight spots in that bottom hip area. And you get this lovely movement, a little bit of rotation of your pelvis through the top hip. So the top hip is going to push that ball forwards and pull it back. And that is also going to give you that massage around your bottom hip where you feel that ball. So if it's not a ball, it's hopefully a towel. It's just something to press into you. So you just feel like that area is opening up. And actually, I won't lie, it feels kind of good. Feels kind of good. So if you need to move that ball a little bit, find a slightly different spot. Good. Just encourage good alignment. We've got rib cage stacked over pelvis. We've got a little bit of space here for something to sort of fit underneath. Maybe your fingers can just fit underneath. So we're keeping that elongation while we do this. Roll that ball forwards. Roll the ball back. Your bottom hip, hopefully after this, is going to feel so much more free because we can get really tight in that area. Well done. Okay. So we just have to organize to do the other side, obviously, right? So I'm going to turn my back to you guys. So find that spot for your towel or your ball. And when you're happy with it, organize your feet parallel to each other, kneecaps on top of each other, head on top of your spine, little bit of space under your bottom ribs, and then that top knee is going to help roll the ball forwards and pull back. Roll the ball forwards. Which side is a little more tight, a little bit more tender? If it feels too much with the ball under your hip, just take it away and do this anyway, because it's still lovely to get this movement through the top hip. Roll that ball forwards, pull it back. So initiate this ball rolling action with the top leg, the top hip. Pull it back. That's giving you the massage on the ball in the bottom hip. And 2 more. Keeping your feet quiet on the wall. Amazing. And then just remove all of that and turn to lie on your back and grab one of your blocks. A little bit more internal rotation. So the block, maybe it's a ball, it could be a cushion, goes between your knees, arms down by your side. And you're going to squeeze that block and push your shins and feet outwards. So you're actually opening out your lower back area and you work hips into internal rotation. Release that tension. Exhale, squeeze that block and press. Bonus abdominal work and release. We're always thinking about ribs over pelvis, so heavy rib cage down on the floor. And release. The last one, it's gonna just be an extra hold. Press into that block. Push your shins and feet out. And release that. Amazing. And again, lengthen the back of the neck. Tail reaches to the wall in front of you, and your head reaches to the wall behind you, or the crown of your head. Press into that block. Push your ankles and feet outwards. And this is the last one. So we're going to hold that little bit longer. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Press that block. Oh my goodness, I'm shaking. Are you shaking? 4, 3, press that block. 2, 1. Oh my goodness, and release. Just go the other way. So bring the soles of your feet together and let those hips open. Gently pressing your hands down onto your inner thighs, just to encourage your hips to go the other way. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Amazing. Hug your knees into your chest. And when you're ready, you're just going to rock up to seated. Okay, and from here, we're going to come back up to standing. Now, if you can, try not to use your hands like we did in day 1. Can you get up from the floor? No hands, and you're going to need 1 block. Okay, so we're just going to work finally on a little bit of hip stability and strength. So 1 foot on the block, and you need your weight. Don't worry if you don't have one, and hold it on the same side as your foot. So right foot on the block, right hand has the weight. So pelvis is level, and then you're going to let your foot come down to the floor, 2 straight legs. This hip has to hike, your right hip has to hike, your left hip has to drop. Push down into the block to pull your foot off the floor. Let your foot come down to the floor, not fully down, just feel like you've just about touched the floor, and your right hip has to hike. Push down into the block to help you lengthen that hip, and therefore this foot comes off the floor. So I don't want you to be leaning into your right side. You stay connected into the heel and your big toe pad, the ball of your foot on the big toe side. Push down to pull. Drop the hip, pull your foot off the floor. So all of this activity is happening from your right hip, driving this action of your pelvis, hiking and dropping. Pull. One more time. Lengthen that leg down so that hip lengthens. Your right hip has to hike. Pull your foot off the floor and then step off, and we do the other side to finish off. Okay, so when you're ready, let's start with your foot off the floor, pelvis is level, and switch hands. Okay, so your legs stay straight. You're going to let your right hip hike to lower your foot to the floor, and then you push into your heel and the big toe line of your foot to help you lift your foot off the floor so it's dangling. Drop the right hip and pull that leg off the floor. And again, drop the right leg to the floor. This is all driven by what's happening on the left side. Your left hip has to hike. Your left foot pushes into the block to pull this foot off the floor. 2 more. Down. Really connect into your foot because that's what's touching the block to pull it up. 1 more time. Down. Try not to lean. And up. And step off the block. Okay, guys. Well done. Well done. Hopefully your hips feel a little bit more free than when you first began. And you can test by going back to those hip circles. Oh, there's no clicking. And do the other side. And I hope you enjoyed that. So please leave a comment or any feedback. If you know anybody who would benefit from doing this reset, please, please, please share the link. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, day 3, which is all going to be about your shoulders and your rib cage. See you then.